My fiancée said I was a past life lesson. After maxing out my card on crystals, she drained my account buying moonstones and psychic readings for another man, then called it spiritual growth. So I taught her one last lesson about karma and credit limits. Before we continue, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. This will greatly help me with promotion. Thank you. Hi, I'm Jake, 32, and last month my life blew up when I found out my fiancée had been using my credit card to buy self-care crystals and online tarot readings for her other boyfriend. It started with an email from Chase Bank titled, "Unusual Activity Detected." I was at work, chewing through a mountain of reports, when the notification pinged my phone. $37 at Luna's Energy Emporium. I blinked. Thought maybe she'd picked up one of those Himalayan salt lamps again. Then another charge rolled in. $65 at Oracle Guidance, Twin Flame Readings. I blinked twice. Then rubbed my eyes like I was trying to make reality reboot itself. At first, I assumed she'd gotten swept into one of those crystal healing rabbit holes on TikTok. She'd always had a thing for astrology, wouldn't sign rental agreements during Mercury retrograde, refused to buy black furniture because it messes with your root chakra, whatever that meant. But this was excessive. I texted her casually. "Hey babe, random, did you order something from Luna's Energy Emporium?" No response. An hour later I get, "Oh yeah, just some stuff for stress relief. I'll explain when I get home." She did explain. With the same tone you might use to tell someone they were out of almond milk. "I've been feeling unbalanced," she said, twirling her hair while standing barefoot on a yoga mat in our living room. "My third eye has been completely blocked lately." Luna's stuff really helps. "And the $65 psychic reading?" I asked. She shrugged. I needed clarity. Clarity on what? That's personal. Oh. That's when I noticed something else. She hadn't taken off that new necklace in a week. A chunky, iridescent moonstone that apparently aligned with the divine masculine and helped call in sacred unions. I googled it. The product description literally said, "Used during love rituals to attract your true soulmate." That's when I realized my fiancée was manifesting my replacement. I should have walked away right then. Any sane person would have. But instead, I did what emotionally confused men have done for centuries when faced with weird spiritual betrayal. I doubled down. "Let's talk this out," I said. "If you're feeling lost, I can help. Therapy, maybe? Or we could take a weekend trip. Recalibrate. Together." She blinked at me like I just offered to fix her Wi-Fi with a potato. "That's sweet, Jake. But it's not really about you. It's about energy. Yours is very blocky right now." Blocky. She waved a smudge stick in my general direction like she was warding off a ghost. "You carry a lot of unhealed ancestral trauma," she said. "I absorb it through my aura." "I work in corporate finance," I replied, utterly lost. "My aura is fiscally responsible." But she was already lighting another candle, muttering affirmations about abundance and releasing toxic cycles. Still, I wanted to believe this was just a phase. A quirky detour on her way back to reality. Maybe a few $100s worth of healing crystals could restore balance to our slowly unraveling engagement. I even sat through a couple's sound bath session where a man named River hit a metal bowl with a stick while chanting, "Release the ego, embrace the now." What I didn't know, what River apparently did, was that my fiancée had already embraced someone else's now. I found out 2 days later. I was trying to order lunch and my card got declined. Weird. I checked my account. Another charge at Oracle Guidance. This one was labeled Twin Flame Integration Session, for Jake isn't him. "Excuse me?" I called the number on the receipt. A chipper voice answered. "Luna speaking." "Yeah, hi," I said, trying not to lose it. "Who booked a twin flame integration for Jake?" "Oh, that was Megan," she said. "She's one of our regulars." Super sweet. Said she needed help detaching from a karmic tie to prepare for union with her real twin flame. She said that? Totally. Something about her current partner being, like, a past life lesson? Really heavy stuff. I hung up. I sat in my car for a full hour staring at the dashboard, my thoughts ricocheting between what the hell is a karmic tie and I spent $6,200 on her engagement ring. She got home that evening wearing the same moonstone necklace, humming some ethereal melody like she just descended from a cloud of sage smoke. Who's your twin flame? I asked. Her eyes widened for a split second. Then she smiled. You weren't supposed to find out like this. Oh, good. She made us herbal tea, because apparently betrayal goes down smoother with peppermint and lemongrass, and explained that she'd met him during a tantric breathwork class. His name was Phoenix, of course it was. He was a Scorpio sun, Pisces moon, and wore leather sandals in winter. She swore it wasn't physical yet, just energetic. I asked if she planned to move in with Phoenix. She looked genuinely hurt. Jake, I would never do that without getting closure first. She meant closure like it was a formal step in the off-boarding process of our relationship. Like she was canceling a Netflix subscription. You deserve conscious uncoupling, she said. That's the mature way. Does conscious uncoupling involve you charging psychic sessions to my credit card? She frowned. That's such a scarcity mindset. I didn't scream. I didn't flip the coffee table. I just nodded slowly, stood up, and began collecting every single crystal in the apartment. What are you doing? She asked, alarmed. These are mine now, I said, calmly placing a giant rose quartz into a cardboard box. If I paid for it, I keep it. That's my moonstone necklace, by the way. She clutched it protectively. That's a sacred artifact. Yeah? Well, guess what, Megan? So is my freaking dignity. You ever hit a point where your brain just flips a switch? Like you've been polite, measured, painfully reasonable for so long that when the final straw snaps, you don't explode, you evolve. That was me, standing in the living room surrounded by Himalayan salt lamps, boxes of incense, and about 43 pounds of manifestation crystals. I'm done, I said, with the eerie calm of a man about to commit spiritual arson. She blinked. Done with what? With funding your enlightenment. I unplugged her diffuser mid-lavender mist. The room went silent except for the faint gurgle of essential oils dying. You want to detach from karmic cycles? Great. Detach from my Amex first. She gasped, like I'd just kicked a puppy made of moonlight. Jake, this isn't how high-vibrational people behave. Oh, I'm vibrating all right, I said, stuffing her stack of Goddess Awakening journals into a tote bag. Just not at the frequency you think. She trailed me as I gathered her New Age arsenal into a box labeled Return to Sender, probably the universe. You're being petty, she snapped. No, I said, grinning. I'm being practical. The most grounded I've been since you bought that $400 pendulum to find our lost car keys. Her mouth fell open. That pendulum worked. It pointed at the neighbor's Toyota. That's when it happened, the moment she officially left the plane of reason. You're choosing your ego over our soul contract, she yelled. I'm choosing overdraft protection, I yelled back. We stood there, two idiots in a battleground of candles and resentment, arguing about reincarnated loyalty points. Then she said it. The thing that finally broke me. Phoenix would never talk to me like this. And there it was. The sacred name. The mythical Birdman who had somehow out-mysticked me. Phoenix, I repeated slowly, like tasting poison. Cool name. Does he live in a cave or just rise out of Whole Foods parking lots? She gasped. He's an energy worker. Oh, I bet he is. I stormed into our shared office, well, her office now, and opened my laptop. You want closure? Let's do this properly. What are you doing? Canceling every auto payment, subscription, and shared account. We're decoupling digitally first. She followed me, panicking as I disconnected her Spotify, Amazon Prime, and, sweet irony, her astrology app subscription. Jake! Stop! You're disrupting my moon cycle! Pretty sure that's biology, not broadband. When I finally hit submit on the last account closure, something inside me shifted. Like I'd been exorcised of a particularly pretty demon. She just stood there, stunned, clutching that damn moonstone necklace. You'll regret this, she said softly. Phoenix says you're operating from fear. Tell Phoenix, I said, picking up my car keys, that Fear and I are driving to a hotel with Wi-Fi and room service. As I walked out, she called after me. Jake. Mercury's in retrograde. This isn't a good time to make decisions. I didn't even look back. Perfect, I said. I'll blame it on the stars. 3 hours later, I was sitting in a Marriott lobby bar, sipping whiskey neat and Googling. Can you sue someone for spiritual fraud? The bartender, Ron, a man with a world-weary soul and a mustache that had clearly seen things, leaned in. Bad breakup? She left me for a man named Phoenix, I said. Ron nodded slowly. That's not a man. That's an omen. Somewhere between drink 2 and a basket of chicken tenders, I had an idea. A dumb, dangerous, wildly satisfying idea. I went back upstairs to my room, opened my laptop, and created a new Gmail account, phoenixspiritmaster444@gmail.com. Then I opened Canva, made a logo with a flaming bird over a chakra wheel, and launched a new Instagram account at Soulflame Ascension. Bio. Guiding sacred feminine energies toward liberation and true twin flame reunion. DM for aura scans and karmic detangling. I posted 2 stock photos of shirtless men meditating on cliffs. Then I DM'd Megan. Grand Rising, Sacred One. I felt your energy shift this morning. Phoenix told me you were ready. She replied in 14 seconds. OMG. Is this who I think it is? It is time. I wrote back. But first, your aura is entangled with shadow energy from a past karmic bond. The masculine must surrender his hold fully before our union can rise. I was quoting directly from her own journal. I'd read it once out of boredom and a vague sense of self-preservation. Who knew it would become the script for my new alter ego? What should I do? She asked. You must release the last vestiges of the old tie. Return all objects charged with his energy. Especially the Moonstone necklace. But Jake took it. Then retrieve it. Without that offering, our ascension will be delayed. This makes so much sense. I've been feeling so blocked lately. I took a sip of my whiskey. Not for long, I whispered. The next morning, I woke up to a notification. Megan had messaged me from her real account. No burner, no shame. Hey, can we meet? Just for a minute. I think you still have something of mine. I messaged back, cool as ice. Sure. Bring Phoenix. She agreed. She actually agreed. I borrowed a blazer from the front desk's lost and found, slicked my hair back, and showed up at our meeting spot, a cafe she liked that served beetroot lattes and gluten-free moon muffins. They were already there. Phoenix looked exactly like you'd expect, linen shirt, man bun, the solemn stare of a guy who carries a singing bowl in his glove compartment. Jake, Megan said, standing to greet me. Thanks for coming. I held up the necklace. I believe you're here for this? She nodded, reverent. But before I handed it over, I turned to Phoenix. So, what do you do? I help people awaken their divine masculine, he said. Oh, cool. I nodded. I help people file chargebacks on fraudulent twin flame consultations. Let me know if you need tips. Megan gasped. You wouldn't. I already did. And that's when I dropped the real bomb. I reached into my bag and placed a manila envelope on the table. What's this? She asked. An invoice. Itemized. Every charge you made to my card in the past 6 months. Phoenix looked down at the list. His eyes widened. You spent $800 on a moon bowl? It had activated water memory. she snapped. I leaned in. I'm not asking for the money back. I'm just letting you know I could. I stood up, dropped the moonstone necklace on the table, and smiled. Enjoy your spiritual journey. As I walked away, I heard Phoenix whisper, You said he was a Capricorn. This is peak Capricorn behavior. Damn right it was. Revenge, as it turns out, isn't always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's just getting your life together so fiercely that the people who broke you start Googling how to sage guilt. After my cafe showdown with Megan and her sandal-clad spiritual escort, I felt lighter. Not vindicated, clarified. The way your sinuses feel after a really good sneeze. Cleansed. That same day, I went home, not to the condo we'd once shared, but to a one-bedroom I'd found downtown, next to a taco place and a dry cleaner that didn't judge. The air was mine. The silence was mine. Even the weird smell from the hallway, maybe a blend of curry and hair dye, was mine. And let me tell you, I thrived. With no one guilt-tripping me about masculine energy clogging the vibe of the living room. I set up a proper desk. I bought a real chair. I started gaming again. I stopped pretending to like cacao ceremonies and just ate Snickers instead. But here's where it gets really fun. A week into my new life, I had a wild thought. A dangerous one. What if I turned this chaos into content? So I did. I launched a TikTok account at former twin flame. Bio. Once called a karmic roadblock. Now calling out the BS. My first video? A dramatic reenactment of Jake Isn't Him, starring a sock puppet named Phoenix and a pile of crystals. I wore a hoodie. I sipped tea. I narrated with the weary, broken spirit of a man who had once agreed to attend a moon water ceremony in the name of love. It went viral in 36 hours. Comments rolled in like spiritual confetti. Bro, she left you during Mercury retrograde? Jail. Not the pendulum pointing at the neighbor's car. Phoenix sounds like the kind of guy who charges extra for hugs. By the end of the week, I had 300K followers. Mostly women, mostly furious, mostly vindicated. Turns out, I wasn't alone. Turns out, there are dozens of us out there. Men, women, even a couple of golden retrievers, don't ask, who had been spiritually gaslit by people with Etsy shops and commitment issues. And suddenly, I had a brand. People were DMing me for advice. I started a mini-series. How to Know Your Twin Flame is just a dude named Steve who needs a job. It exploded. I got invited to speak on a podcast hosted by a no-nonsense woman named Lila who wore black turtlenecks and called herself a reformed woo girl. We recorded a 2-hour episode about red flags and spiritual dating and how chakra talk can sometimes just be a smoke screen for emotional immaturity. She ended the interview with, Jake, what's one thing you wish you'd known before dating a crystal witch? I thought for a moment, then said, that you can be spiritually aligned and still pay your damn bills. She high-fived me across the mic. The next morning, I woke up to an email. Subject: Brand Partnership Inquiry, from the desk of Moonbeam Marketing Collective. Hi Jake. We love your humor and honesty. We'd love to collaborate on a line of emotionally responsible incense. Let us know if you're interested. Reader, I was very interested. I was signing incense contracts and fielding podcast invitations when she messaged me. No, not Megan. River. The sound bath guy. He'd met me on Instagram. Hey man. Been watching your videos. Real talk, your aura's looking a lot brighter these days. I didn't respond. Mostly because I was busy designing labels for my new product line. No BS Palo Santo, for clearing out people who call you a karmic test. Fast forward 6 months, I'm sitting at a booth at SoulCon, a wellness-adjacent convention for reformed spiritual burnout survivors. Yes, that's a thing now. And yes, I was the keynote speaker. Next to me, sipping overpriced matcha and judging crystal-themed tote bags with gleeful precision, was Lila. We'd gone from podcast co-hosts to business partners to something trickier. The kind of trickier That involves late-night phone calls and arguments about font choices that somehow end in forehead kisses. Do we like this version of the logo? She asked, spinning her laptop around. Or should we add fire to the phoenix? I smiled. I think we've had enough fire metaphors for one lifetime. Fair. She smirked. Besides, we're not burning things down anymore. We're building. That night, after SoulCon, we went back to our shared hotel room. Not because of fate or astrology or planetary alignment. Because we chose to. Because we liked each other. Because neither of us needed the other to heal, we were already whole. We curled up on the couch and scrolled through the comments on our latest episode of Uncharted Territory, Life After Woo. One said, I didn't leave my twin flame for Jake's voice, but I did find my spine. Thanks, y'all. Another said, y'all are what accountability and healing actually look like. And then there was this one. Does anyone know if Phoenix has a podcast? I need to know if he's okay. We burst out laughing. Later, while brushing my teeth, I caught my reflection in the mirror. And for the first time in my life, I didn't see a guy trying to be what someone else needed. I saw me. Exactly as I was. No aura audits. No energy downloads. No subscription-based enlightenment. Just me. Jake. A man who survived an attempted spiritual pyramid scheme and turned it into a personal brand. A man who learned that being the safe choice doesn't mean being a doormat. A man who, when faced with a karmic twin flame disaster, said, no thanks. I'll be my own damn soulmate. And that was the real awakening.